In today's world, there is no company out there that does not live in a constant threat of a cyber attack and afford not to invest in cybersecurity. But traditional cybersecurity measures and tools simply cannot keep up with the rapidly changing cybersecurity landscape. They cannot stop today's adept cybercriminals who use advanced anti-forensics and evasion methods in their malicious code, which makes the usual security assessment techniques or static malware and traffic analysis less efficient. These cybercriminals dive deep into the dark web to buy and sell illegal products and services. They even gain access to classified government information. To fight back and stay ahead of these criminals, organizations need proactive strategies and next-generation security tools to understand their threats and rely on cyber threat intelligence to identify and understand impending attacks, speed up security operations, and drive and prioritize the implementation of security controls. Hi, I'm Leena Bongale, Cloud and Endpoint Security Specialist at TD Bank. In today's session, I will talk about how to build an effective cyber threat intelligence program. So let's begin. Let's assume the Chief Information Security Officer at a fictitious financial company called Acme Incorporated is tasked with creating a cyber threat intelligence program plan and has to give a briefing to the executive team to update them on what they are working on and where they are heading with this work. I will play the role of the CISO just to make this presentation a bit more fun. A fictitious Acme Incorporated is a top institution and one of the largest banks in the United States, and as such is target of cyber attacks both directly and indirectly. This calls for gathering evidence-based knowledge including context, mechanisms, indicators, implications, and actionable advice about an existing or emerging menace to the assets that can be used to make informed decisions regarding Acme's response to that menace. And this can be achieved by building an effective cyber threat intelligence program that is relevant, timely, accurate, actionable, and contextual. In the past year, Acme's cyber threat landscape has shifted radically. The most common was overwhelmingly credential exposure, which is not surprising given the abundance of third-party breaches, risky user practices, and insufficient client controls. A host of new and evolving cybersecurity threats has Acme on high alert. Ever more sophisticated cyber attacks involving malware, phishing, machine learning and artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and many more have placed Acme's data and asset at a constant risk. Today, Acme's security operations teams are confronting too many events and alerts with too little talent and not enough time to investigate everything that's worthy of attention. This situation is generating unprecedented stress and burnout, which results in a reactive approach that's doomed to failure. Acme's SecOps teams are constantly struggling to organize internal processes and resources instead of anticipating and preventing the latest threats. Along with the SecOps teams, the threat intelligence teams lack a means to translate the threat intelligence in a form that's readily shareable or actionable. They simply share this information through emails, presentations, or spreadsheets. Without the bandwidth to become more proactive, they are restricted to playing an endless game of catch-up with the bad actors, one that is unlikely to win. Although Acme utilizes multiple diversified defense products to prevent, detect, and disrupt incoming attacks, the increasing capability, persistence, and complexity of adversarial attacks have made traditional defense approaches ineffective. Acme's security teams are struggling to have the ability to see potential threats before they happen, ability to prioritize and manage an influx of alerts, improve incident response time, provide insight into the vulnerabilities most likely to be exploited, ability to access historical data such as access to deleted posts or closed messaging groups, ability to see early warning signs of data leaks or stolen credentials, have visibility of entire networked assets and exposure to risk. Building an effective cyber threat intelligence program will help Acme SecOps teams and threat intelligence teams gain a deeper insight of potential threats to creating mitigation controls. Having an effective cyber threat intelligence program in place will help improve situational awareness, identify threats and attackers' tactics, techniques, and procedures, that's TTPs, effectively mitigate threats and gain actionable intelligence specific to Acme Incorporated. The Cyber Threat Intelligence Program will be a formal and iterative process that will consist of 5 key activities. The first step will be planning and direction. This will be the foundational step in building the threat intelligence program at Acme. It will clarify the need, determine the objectives, and set the goal for the program. In this phase, Acme's cybersecurity teams will identify threat intelligence requirements, that's use cases, by analyzing current gaps, emerging threats, recurring incidents they have trouble detecting, and other blind spots in their defense strategy. In developing a plan, it's important to ensure the program can gather the information crucial to the organization's protection. To do so, first, the various threat intelligence sources must be identified. These sources can include open source information, industry reports, and intelligence from other organizations. This data gives a broad view of the threat landscape and helps identify new and emerging threats. In the analysis and dissemination activity, a process for analyzing and disseminating the intelligence gathered will be established. This process can allow Acme to identify and respond to threats quickly. In addition to this process, a step to prioritize intelligence based on relevance and potential impact will also be established. These two together will ensure Acme can take appropriate action to protect the organization effectively. The next step will be to implement security controls. In this step, security teams will implement the relevant security controls to protect against identified threats. They can start by updating security policies and procedures to reflect the latest threats and vulnerabilities. Such sections as updated incident response plans and security awareness training falls here. Next will be the technical security controls. The focus here will be on implementing firewalls, intrusion detection and prevention, endpoint security software, and other cybersecurity features. Implementing threat hunting techniques will also be considered. In short, it's essential to configure and implement security controls correctly and regularly for effective threat prevention. The Cyber Threat Intelligence team should identify the recipients of and stakeholders for threat information and accordingly set up communication or integration channels and processes within the organization and externally. This will ensure that the intelligence flows seamlessly and in real time for optimal consumption. Another very important aspect is that cyber threat intelligence teams have to be mindful of the financial impact of their function and accordingly prepare to define, measure, and report relevant and impactful metrics and demonstrate the value in the investment of the program. Once the threat intelligence program is stood up, it's important to ensure that the program remains relevant and continues to add value to Acme. Continuous evaluation and feedback will be an integral part of the program's life cycle. This means all associated stakeholders must assess whether the program is improving their security posture and reducing the impact of incidents on an ongoing basis. This can be best achieved by maintaining a continuous dialogue between providers, analysts, and end consumers of the information to identify deficiencies, minimize gaps and redundancies, and compensate for any shortfalls. The Cyber Threat Intelligence Program will set appropriate goals and establish a clear direction for Acme's security teams to understand what is required of them during the intelligence life cycle, and it also lets us show the board what we intend to do, how much it will cost, and why it's necessary. Threat intelligence is not so effective as a standalone tool, but it is highly useful when integrated with other security technologies. The Threat Intelligence Program at Acme will not be a standalone or a process operating in a silo. It will be built into the current automated security systems and used to make those tools better in detecting suspicious events and patterns or behavior. Measuring the success of the Cyber Threat Intelligence Program won't be an easy task, simply due to the nature of what cyber threat intelligence is. The general value in Cyber Threat Intelligence Program will be in knowing what is going on in the business world and in many cases in the financial industry, since Acme is a financial institution and as such is concerned with the financial industry. This allows for preventative measures to be taken as well as the ability to better prepare for potential incidents in the future. The cyber kill chain and MITRE attack frameworks are brilliant examples of intelligence that can be used to better prepare and test Acme's readiness. For too long, Acme's security teams have wasted their effort losing the battle to the attackers because they are forced to spend their time firefighting threats with too many disconnected tools and without understanding how their time and expertise can be applied to proactively mitigate the most critical risk to the organization. The proposed Cyber Threat Intelligence Program will provide them exactly what they need, that is, infusing intelligence into security operations. In intelligence-powered security operations, risk and threat intelligence is combined with human expertise and machine power to deliver better outcomes to the business. I hope this presentation gave you a general idea of what is a cyber threat intelligence program, its importance, and the activities to plan for within the program, and how it can keep Acme, our fictitious financial company, stay proactive against the backdrop of current threat landscape and understand whether their cybersecurity controls are working effectively and efficiently. So until next time, stay safe, be well, and goodbye.